there's no good way to like show you my pants without this being a really awkward podcast. So hi and welcome to another finished object review video here at M1 Yarns and the Michigan Makers podcast. And let me just say from the get-go, no, it's not the sweater that I'm wearing. Although this is, do I have a video on this? I don't know if I ever did a video on this, but nonetheless, this is the Felix pullover, and this is my own hand-dyed yarn in the colorway Green Olives. This is my worsted weight base called Middle of the Road, held with my Surrey Silk Street lace weight base. And it is probably one of my most worn sweaters. I do really love the lace detailing. We're not going to talk about it though. We're not going to talk about it. You can message me if you want to talk about it. But today we are here to talk about knitted pants. And I'm going to insert some photos as we go. But the long and the short of it, oh, that's a funny phrasing for a pair of pants. This is a pair of sweatpants. It's called Knitted Pants by Kristina McGowan. And this is from a pattern book. If you find it on Ravelry, it will literally refer you to the book. I know the book is available on Amazon. It's also frequently found at knitting shops as it's a pretty popular pattern book. And so it's kind of, it's catch-22. Do I feel like patterns should all be on Ravelry? Yes. Do we all live by local yarn stores? No. Do I like to support my local yarn shop? Yes. Anyway, do with all that information what you will, but this is my second pair of knitted pants, and let me tell you, I'm addicted. I work from home, and probably like some of you, or if you don't, when you get home, you just want to put on something cozy, something relaxing, and knitted pants is where it's at. And what's really funny is that there are quite a few patterns coming out for knitted pants. So back to what we're talking about today for this finished object review. I was looking for a scrap buster project because I had knit the Stripes of Joy by Tiff Nealon. I'll insert a photo here. And first and foremost, I didn't even pay attention to gauge, I think. I don't know what I was doing. Then I finished and it was like a lot of ease. I mean, I was swimming in it. And it was thick stripes going horizontal. I didn't think it did anything for my figure. I'm not opposed to stripes. I'm not opposed to that pattern. It was fun to knit. But it just wasn't working for me. It was like a failed project. But I love the yarn, I love the colors, so I frogged the sweater and said, you know what, I'm going to make pants out of this and incorporate a couple other little worsted weight, like half balls or quarter balls left over from some projects or that I just had laying around, and wanted to kind of mash it all up in a stash busting, scrap busting project. And these were addictive to knit. The one thing I will say is that just like sweater knitting, like for me, I'm only 5'3". So I know that sleeve patterns that say like knit from, you know, like when you come back, if like this is a top down. So when you come back to here and you're gonna knit the sleeve in the round, it'll say like knit the sleeve 15.9 inches. That's never going to work for me unless like my sleeves are going to completely cover my hands, which just looks foolish. So I know that I have to tweak the decreases of my sleeve to reach the fit that I want of the sleeve and reach the right number of stitches for the cuff within the space of my arm. So I had to do the same thing for the leg. So I will say that the couple modifications I made to this pattern, which was overall well written, well, first of all, I striped every 10 rounds in case you're curious about the thickness or the height of each stripe. It was 10 rounds. Then I decreased on the legs. I think my size said something like, I'm going off memory, every 8 rounds. And in the pattern it says, you know, she's so tall and blah, blah, blah. So I decided, you know what, let's decrease every 4 rounds. And if by the time I get to my calf, it's more like a legging, well then so be it. These are basically lounge pants. I'm not super, you know, super worried about the finished product being like perfect, like I might a sweater or a dress or something like that. But knitting decreasing rather every 4th round actually worked really well for my height. So maybe if you're a little bit taller than me, maybe decrease every 5 or 6 rounds. Basically, you got to do some math, which is not my favorite thing, but you got to take the length that you need from the crotch to the ankle, take your gauge, figure out the difference that you need and how many rounds you're getting per inch, do the math. And it worked. It worked great. I'm really happy with the fit. I'm really happy with everything, but the one other modification I made was you cast on the waist, you know, like 1 layer, and then you start knitting the crotch, butt, body situation. The previous pants that I had knit, you knit the waistband like double the length and then fold it over and incorporate either elastic inside that casing, like that, or a drawstring, and then you specifically knit 2 holes for the drawstring to come out of on the front side of that double. And my hand motions are not really helping explain what I'm talking about. But basically the waistband was double thickness. And when I tried these on, I wasn't that thrilled with like the single thickness, although the double thickness added bulk to the waist. So it's a double-edged sword. You really got to figure out what works best for you. The directions said that you go back at the end and crochet on an elastic band to the cast on edge. And I just thought that wasn't quite what I wanted. So I picked up the stitches from the cast on edge and I knit those 1 by 1 as opposed to the 2 by 1 that the waistband calls for. So on the outside it's 2 by 1 and on the inside it's 1 by 1, and I put an elastic band inside there. I like the elastic band. I didn't really want to fiddle with a drawstring. Number 1, because then that's like something you have to retie every time you go to the bathroom. And number 2, I didn't want to knit an I-cord. So do what works for you. That was what worked for me. I'm really happy overall with everything about them. They're super cozy. Let me tell you right now, between wearing the sweater and my knitted pants, I have them on right now. God, I need to get back to yoga. I'm not very flexible. Let's try that again. Okay, bear with me. That's all you get. I am cozy. And yeah, I highly recommend. So I will link the video of the other pants that I knit in case you're interested in information on that. I will say for that one, I held fingering weight, held doubled. So if you have Advent minis that you're looking for something to knit with, really either of these patterns would work. That pattern, I believe, was DK, but I knit it at a worsted weight, holding the fingering doubled, but then I accommodated with my needle size and all that mathematical mumbo jumbo. But this, I used worsted weight, just as the pattern calls for. So if you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear from you. if you are considering knitting pants, go on Ravelry. There are some really great patterns that have even recently come out, both for like jogger style, legging style, lounge pant, like straight leg kind of thing. There's options. So check it out. Don't be scared to knit pants. What do you have to lose? It's like 2 sleeves and a butt. Anyway, thanks for joining me here at M1 Yarns, and I'll see you next time. Bye.